Right, hey up lads, welcome back to Coyote Racing for yet another video. You may notice that the background is slightly different, and that's because I have successfully moved house. I've been settling in quite nicely for the last couple of weeks, and it's been very nice. But don't worry, this whole background thing is only temporary. We're currently in the process of building an outhouse as my office. But anyway, we're done with formalities, let's crack on with the video. So I was browsing through Netflix a couple of days ago, and I decided to watch the Top Gear road trip specials, which if you haven't seen them, go and watch them because they're actually a ton of fun. But within one of the challenges they were doing in the episode, I spotted something a bit unusual. So if you don't know, Jeremy Clarkson and Richard Hammond went to Monza as they were in Italy and they were driving across doing the perfect road trip. And they decided to do a timed test around that track, with Richard Hammond being in a Pagani Huayra and Jeremy Clarkson being in a Porsche Cayman, when it was really the Stig, but you know, that's the car he brought. And if you haven't seen the episode yet, pause this video right now and go watch it, because I'm about to spoil it. But if you have seen the episode, you will know that in the episode, the Porsche Cayman beat the Pagani Huayra around Monza, albeit within the hands of the Stig. Richard Hammond set the first time in the Huayra with a 2 minutes 14.8. Then they handed the Stig the Porsche Cayman, and he managed to get around Monza in 2 minutes 13.2, which is an alarming gap if you think about it. However, there are quite a few issues I spotted, and this for me exposed a little bit of a hole in the whole challenge. See, I am under the belief that that little challenge was set up and staged, or even faked. Now, just before anybody in the comment section starts getting a sweaty brow and starts furiously typing on their keyboard, this is all a theory. Take everything that I am saying with a pinch of salt, because this is just my analysis of the whole thing, and I would actually like to hear what you think. So, how have I come to this conclusion? Well, let's get into a few things real quick. Let's start with the cars. So we have a Porsche 718 Cayman and a Pagani Huayra, and we'll begin with power. The Porsche Cayman has 350 brake horsepower, whereas the Pagani Huayra has 740, over twice the brake horsepower. And it's much the same story when it comes to torque. Porsche has 420 Newton meters of torque, whereas the Pagani Huayra has 1000 Newton meters of torque. And that's a lot. And then it comes to the weight front, the Porsche weighs 1355 kilos, whereas the Pagani Huayra weighs a little bit more at 1360. Only a 5 kilo difference, which when it comes to road cars is very, very minute. So they weigh pretty much the same, but one of them has twice the brake horsepower and almost 3 times the torque output. Not to mention the Pagani Huayra has very, very sophisticated brakes and aero brakes to help it stick to the ground and stop a lot faster. Now you're probably thinking, sat in your chair at home, wait Corey, it's all in well that you've got all of that power, but can you handle it around a racetrack? Well, here's the thing. Of all the racetracks in the world they took the cars to, they took it to Monza. Now, if you don't know your way around Monza, let me show you real quick. So here is a track layout of Monza, and it is a clockwise racetrack. Go away, Sean. Thank you. So the start-finish line is here, and you blast all the way down to DEFCON 1. So full throttle, hard braking zone into this tight chicane, and then full throttle again around Curva Grande into yet another chicane. Then there are 2 very open, wide, spacious corners, and then full throttle again into Ascari. This right here is my favourite part of the track, and I absolutely love it. Then you get through this and full throttle again into Parabolica. Now here's the thing, notice what I said quite a lot of there. Full throttle. This racetrack is at least 80% full power, which means both cars have to go down these enormous straights, and as we've looked at the stats earlier, the Huayra is twice as powerful and weighs roughly the same. And yes, maybe the Porsche Cayman can be faster in the corners than the Huayra. However, these 2 chicanes right here require that both cars go very slowly or a similar speed. And the 2 Lesmos here are very long sweeping corners which require a lot of downforce, which the Pagani has more of. Now, I know what you are going to say. Corey, the Stig was at the wheel of the Cayman. Nobody is faster than the Stig. And that may be the case. Then you've got to ask yourself, Richard Hammond has been doing that program for approximately 15 years at that point. He's driven all sorts of powerful supercars, including the Bugatti Veyron. You would expect someone who's been working around cars that long would be at least a bit competent behind the wheel of a powerful car. And to be very clear, I am not questioning Richard Hammond's driving abilities, because I am fully aware that he is a very, very qualified driver. And this video isn't to question someone's driving capabilities. This video is to merely investigate the possibility that this test was faked. And to give you some scale of the size of the circuit, look at the size of it. It is enormous. Huge long straights sprawling out in front of you. Bearing in mind, this is all full throttle as well coming around here. And again, the Porsche Cayman may be faster than the Huayra around a corner, but I don't think it's that fast that it would make up all the time it's lost on these long straights. Because the Cayman has to go at roughly the same speed as the Huayra around the first 2 chicanes. So, what else are we going to do to investigate this possibility? Well, we are going to use the beautiful thing called sim racing. And what we're going to do is we're going to try and beat the Stig in the Cayman first, and then we're going to do the same in the Huayra and show you how much faster the Pagani Huayra is and why I think this is fake. But just before we jump into it, I want to reiterate something that Clarkson says. When you have a car that is so powerful, you tend to drive slower because you are afraid of that car. And this is true. And Richard Hammond could be driving very, very slowly around the track. But when it comes to a long straight, I don't think he's going to be driving at half throttle, you know? So let's jump into the sim rig and watch as this jacket disappears. So, for our first test, we're going to actually challenge ourselves a little bit by attempting to beat the Stig's time of a 2 minutes 13.2. Now, I don't expect this challenge to be particularly easy because 1, it's the Stig, and 2, when the Stig's driving, he is driving at the best of his capability. So there were a couple of things to this. Both the cars had a standing start from the start line, so that's what we are going to do. Slowly build ourselves up to the start line, there it is, and brake. And we don't have to wait for anyone to, you know, set us away and start the stopwatch. We can just do it whenever we like. So what I am going to do, though, is turn off the traction control for the start, build up the revs to about 4,000 RPM, and then turn the traction control back on. So, brake just before 150. Just for a test, that's way too early, it turns out. Keep it in first gear, because this is a road car. This isn't a GT3 car, what I'm normally used to. Coming through Curva Grande. Now, of all of the cars that Kunos have created for the original Assetto Corsa, I think this one has to be my favourite. It actually, it's a really good car and a good model of the Porsche Cayman. Yay! Now this is just a warm-up. We're not pushing it because we want to just find our bounds. Because even in the episode, Clarkson and Hammond got to warm up slightly by just taking the car around the track and talking about the cars. I've only just noticed the clock at how slow we were. What on earth? So looking back at that time, that was going to be a 2 minute 20 lap time. So we're going to have to do a lot better than that, okay? So this next couple of laps, I'm going to try and push as hard as I can to try and get as close to that 2 minute 13.2. So 3, 2, 1. I can brake so much later than 150. It's just I've been driving GT3 for so long that it's just hardwired into my brain. That's where I need to brake. Oh, much better through there. Much better through there. It's getting a bit scaredy through there, but we can hold it. Try and cut the corner, give it the power nice and early. Oh yeah, that's much better through there. Just Full power, full power, full power. Don't care, don't care. Go on, go on, go on. It doesn't look like we're gonna do it. I think we're about 2 seconds off. Getting a bit sideways through there, but that was a good parabolica. 2 minutes 9, 2 minutes 10. Where we're gonna be? 2 minutes 13. 2 minutes 14.7, which is still faster than what Richard Hammond was doing in the Huayra. We're getting close. So I think I know what I'm doing wrong. It's just my braking points are a little bit all over the place, because some places I need to brake earlier than what I normally used to, and then in other places I need to brake later than I'm normally used to. Alright, okay. Traction control is off, and here we go in 3, 2, 1. That was a perfect start. Perfect start. Oh, we got it just nicely there. Power. Oh, we did it. First corner, Deathcon 1, done splendidly. We just need to get our braking markers just right in order to beat the stick. Alright, okay, brake now. Still too early. Still too early. But we're getting the power down much earlier than we were previously as well. Brake now, turn it in, smooth. Turn the steering a bit, get on the power to bring the rear ender about so we can rotate a little bit better. Brake. Oh, way too late, I fluffed that corner. Coming down the back straight, coming up into Ascari. Don't know what speed we're doing, but we need to brake earlier here than what I'm normally used to. Cut the corner. Oh, that was a big bounce, big bounce. But we've held on to it. I don't think we're going to do this lap. It's not looking good, lads. 212, 213, 214, 215. That was a second slower. I thought, oh man, if it wasn't for Ascari and the second Lesmore, I think we could have been very close. 11, 2 minutes 12. Oh, it's not going to be enough. Oh. We did the exact same time as we did before. Well, that ought to warm the car up a bit. And here's my theory about this whole test, is that I reckon, like the way they filmed it, is they made it look like the Huayra went out first and set that 2:14.8, and then the Stig went out and beat it. I'm not so sure. I have a feeling that they sent the Porsche out first to set that lap, and then they sent out the Huayra with Hammond in it to get that time, because there is no way the Huayra is slower around Monza than a Cayman. There's no way. And here's the thing, if they'd done it at any other racetrack like Nürburgring, Kyalami, Brands Hatch, Imola, any of those tracks, maybe it would have been a bit more believable that the Cayman beat the Huayra. But they picked Monza. Monza isn't a corner-heavy racetrack. It's 80% full throttle. Something in that film is a bit staged. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love it and it's very entertaining, and I'm not complaining, it's just... it's bugging me. It just bugs me, that's all. Half a second. I lost 4/10. I lost 4/10 in the last 3 corners, and I'm gonna warm the brakes up. Okay, here we go. This is just, I wouldn't recommend doing this in real life, but this is just a way to warm the car up, so I'm warming the brakes up currently. warmed the tyres up perfectly there. Got it just nicely. This feels good. Might be it. It might be it, but it might not be. Oh, I think I just made a crease in my bone structure how hard I pressed the brake pedal there. Oh, 2 more tenths. We're so close. And I know where I lost it as well. I know where I lost it. It was after Curva Grande, the second chicane. If I don't mess up that chicane, I think we've got it. A little bit there, but I reckon that'll be okay. Much neater through there. I think we might be okay with that one. All depending on Ascari now. Exit was cack. If that exit spoils this, I'm going to be so upset. Come on. Come on. Yes! Yes! 2 minutes 12.6. We got all of the corners, apart from Ascari, just right. So I reckon I could go a bit faster, but it's all about the braking points and just not having any slip in the car with this thing. Where that time came from, I do not know, but it's all about that second chicane. But now, it's time to hop over into the Huayra. What you're about to see is why I believe this whole ordeal is completely set up, and why I think they sent the Porsche out first to set that time, and then sent Hammond out to get as close, if not a lot slower. Tires, hypercar trofeo. Okay, so let's put those on road tires, because that's what they would use, and I believe they were using. We're not going to do anything crazy for the first lap. We're just going to get used to the car, get ourselves warmed up, and see if we can beat Richard Hammond's time of a 2 minute 14.8. My question is, how much are we going to beat that time? Because this is where I think this is all set up. And if they chose a different track, it would have been much harder to spot. There we go. And away we go. Already, you can feel that there is so much more power in this thing. It's like a surge. Alright, okay, I'm not going to get too crazy, because I don't know what my braking points are in this car, but already, it's just taken the Porsche and just blown it away, because I broke so early there. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, you have to let off the throttle going through Curva Grande. The back end stepped out there. The brakes are so good in this car. This is genuinely a special car, I think. It feels great as well. Just look at that dial just climbing. You don't get you do get an electronic speedo, but that analog one is genuinely nice. Oh, hang on. Well, I think I found the braking marker for that bit. Just going to knock it into 6th gear since we're just cruising to the start line. Oh, 7th gear. This has got 7 gears. This is genuinely an amazing car. What? So I was expecting to beat the Porsche time that I set, not on my warm-up lap. I was not pushing. I was braking early. I even put it in 7th gear along the back straight after Ascari in our warm-up. That I was not expecting. I thought we were going to get like a 215 or something like that with not pushing. This is why I had a feeling that Top Gear had staged this a little bit for the cameras for entertainment. And that's fine, by the way. I don't mind that because it's Top Gear. When you have this car that's got twice the horsepower of the Porsche Cayman, far superior brakes, especially with the aero brake as well that you've got on this car, because the flaps come up and down with it. Putting it around Monza, it is impossible. It is impossible to be slower than a Cayman. It's not possible, no matter who you put in the car. Monza is 80% straight lines and full throttle. This is one corner. Then another big long straight that you've got power on. Oh, also, yeah, on the warm-up lap, I have to lift off. I had to lift off here because the back, it's still trying to kill me even though I've lifted off. I'm gonna have to like try and do my best to try and simulate what Richard Hammond was doing on that lap, because I went 5 seconds faster than him. And I am taking into account the fear factor. But my warm-up lap is kind of representing that, almost. Because of how slowly I was going and how I was testing the brakes and finding my braking point. That's how I was able to, you know, pretty much simulate the fear factor of the car. Because again, this has got twice the power. And Clarkson is right, you do drive a bit slower when you've got more power. But I don't think it's that slowly. 3, 2, 1. Getting so much speed. You have to be careful with the understeer coming out of corners, just planting the car, because the traction control obviously has to step in at some point. That's skating through there. Through Curva Grande, it is just skating. 1.9 seconds. Come on. Went even faster this time. I am going to put it in second. I think it was a mistake putting it in 3rd gear. It just understeers so much. Alright, okay, we cannot mess this corner up. 2.2 seconds there. Had to lift off through there. Brake. Those really big, powerful brakes just holding me on the track just. Come on! Oh, it's skating! Come on! Come on! Yes! Oh, 1:59.3. I am curious though what kind of time it would do if we put Trofeo tyres on it though. I was expecting to be faster, okay, than Hammond in the Huayra. What I was not expecting was how much by. That's close to a 15-second deficit. Monza is the track for this car, but I want to know what was going on for the Huayra to go that slowly in the hands of Richard Hammond, because I am not questioning Richard Hammond's skill at all. He's a very, very competent driver. I mean, you have to be if you've been doing Top Gear for close to 20 years and Grand Tour. What I want to know though is, was it really staged? Take everything that I'm saying with a pinch of salt, because this is all a theory. And again, if it is set up, I am not complaining whatsoever. I love Top Gear. It made for a funny bit and I was entertained, so I don't care. That lap time that the Stig set in the Porsche, I know for a fact is real. I spent a good half an hour trying to beat that time. But what I was not expecting was to then beat that time in the Huayra in a warm-up lap, trying to just acclimatize myself to the car. I don't care if you are Lewis Hamilton. If you put Lewis Hamilton into that Porsche and you give anybody who is the mildest bit competent in a powerful car, it is impossible for the Huayra to lose around this track. And that is my theory. Again, I would like to know what you guys think in the comments section below. Do you think they faked it? Do you think it was all staged for entertainment purposes? And again, I don't care if they staged it or not because it was funny. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this episode of Coyote Racing. If you are new to this channel, I would really greatly appreciate it that you hit that subscribe button with the notification bell. And if you have enjoyed this video, hit that like button because that would help me out a lot. And we are a growing channel. We're doing things well here, I think, and I would deeply and greatly appreciate it. Also, before we leave, this channel is in affiliation with Fanatec, so if you want to check out any of the gear that I use from Fanatec, then click the link in the description if you want to get yourself some good gear. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you guys in the next race. Have a good night, everybody.